everyone. So I wanted to do a quick video about unifying polarities. This time about unifying the polarities of freedom and control, because this is going to be the next big place where a lot of us are going to be doing the work. Now, we're talking that this is a fourth dimensional concept. And remember, in 4D, there are still polarities, but they're now seen on a spectrum, all right? And as we see them on a spectrum, we start integrating it into our consciousness, so we don't see them as two separate things, but we see them on this polarity or this gradient of ways of being or thinking or doing. Coming up now, as we start going into the last part of the year, one of the big things that we are going to be unifying is the idea between freedom and control. And it's going to happen a little differently than maybe the way you were thinking about it. What's happening right now is not going to be about freedom in terms of doing anything you want. I just saw something that was put out by the World Health Organization saying that the pandemic or the COVID-19 is going to be around for 2 years. When they do things like that, what I have personally noticed is they're either setting up a narrative or they're seeding the consciousness to get the expectations in line, okay? For the light workers, integrating this polarity is not going to be about just doing whatever you want. It's going to be about finding freedom within the control. That's where we're going to be doing it. And a part of what this lockdown is about is freeing yourself from old paradigms, from beliefs that no longer serve you, from things that you were doing that didn't really make sense or really weren't fulfilling or important to you. As this drags on and on and on, we are starting to see that people are getting a little edgy, that this polarity thing is getting bigger and bigger in some respects. It's going to be huge by the time we get to the election. So really, I want you to start thinking about not freedom as I get to do whatever I want, and you can, I mean, absolutely, but there's no concerts for the rest of the year. You're not going to go to a movie theater anymore. Those things aren't happening right now. And so what we are doing as light workers to unify this polarity is we are finding the place where we find our own personal freedom in the midst of all of this control. For me, I've been doing a ton of gardening. I have been doing a lot of art. I've been doing a lot of creation of new programs, and it's actually been a very fertile time for me creatively because of the control. And that's the whole thing. Because when you can find freedom in control, you actually are completely liberated. It's not about lining it up the right way on the outside. It's forcing us to line it up the right way on the inside. And as we keep going through the last part of this year, where it's going to get more and more intense, I want you guys to think about where it is that you find your freedom and how can you exercise your freedom in the midst of all of these things that are happening right now. I know one of the places that I've found freedom is unplugging from mass media. Now, I've always done that, but I always keep a toe in there just to see where my clients are at or what the narrative is at the moment. I do listen to a podcast, The Journal. I listen to the Wall Street Journal podcast every morning, and that's the only news I get. I will check in to see if there's a hurricane coming, but that's about it. But it's interesting for me to see and watch where the narrative is, and now you can see the slant, so it's so easy to spot. So, you know, this is another place where as we start waking up and expanding our consciousness and seeing how the narrative is controlled and shaped on whatever side it is, left or right, you know, it doesn't matter. It's about making your own choices and decisions. So think about this and just play with the idea that what is happening right now is allowing you to become truly free on the inside and giving you all kinds of choices and opportunities to do things maybe in a different way, but Once again, you can't focus on what has been lost. Really start looking at the opportunities that this is presenting, because for a lot of people, this is waking them up to a new level of reality. Love you guys, and I'll talk to you later.